One of my goals on this channel is to have the most intellectually interesting, the most comprehensive, the deepest dives, the most exciting looks into the future, the most elaborate analyses of where we might be going in the Tesla future, in the future of the economy, in the future of the stock market. Not just reporting the news. No, we want to be kind of on the bleeding edge of analysis, and therefore we're going to be wrong from time to time. But I'm counting on you guys because you guys are you're responding to this kind of a channel because why? Because you're kind of the smarter group. You're kind of the smartest group out there that's listening to these various YouTubers, and as a result, I get amazing comments. I get amazing questions. And you've probably seen them. You probably have looked through some of the comments and questions, and you're probably as surprised as, well, not as surprised, I guess it shouldn't be a surprise to see what great comments we do get here. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to take a look at some of the best ones, and please comment now, and I will be picking up more comments along the way, and we'll do another comment show like this in the future. By the way, on the Patreon front, last time I checked, now I'm shooting this on Friday afternoon. You won't see it until Saturday afternoon, but on Friday afternoon, we were at 95 on Patreon, really getting close to 100. A number of you have even said, hey, let's go, Randy, let's get there. So thankful that you're part of the fun of trying to get to 100. But there's really good content up there, which you can take a look at, as well as, of course, just supporting me in my efforts here on the channel. Hit like also, hit subscribe, hit notify. We will have really good content coming up this week. Everybody that was out of town is coming back into town, so we'll have lots of interviews coming up this week. You're not going to want to miss those. Plus, you have the regular Saturday afternoon news show that'll be following this. You have the Sunday afternoon show where we talk about what's going to be coming up the next week. You're not going to want to miss that. So lots and lots of stuff you're going to want to pay attention to. All right, let's take a look now. Here is the first question or comment. Tom Turnbull, 3723. If you want to find Tom, he's at Tom Turnbull 3723. Hi, Randy. Great job on this 2026 prediction video. I note that your FSD take rate is likely too high. Buyers of the next gen platform who are not in the robotaxi pool are not likely to buy or subscribe to FSD. They're buying the sub $25,000 model because they're on a tight budget. Tom, I couldn't agree with you more. It is probably going to have a lower take rate. But one of the reasons my take rate might be right on is because even those folks that are on a tight budget might start to recognize the amazing value that you get by not having to be attentive to the road while you're in the car. That could mean that you could be studying. It could mean that you could be increasing your knowledge about some subject matter that's going to help you improve your life. It could mean that you're just catching up with the news or catching up with your portfolio. You could be actually working. Maybe your job doesn't require all of the work to be done at the office. So you can be on the way, you can be working, on the way home, you can be working. There's a bunch of different ways where this is going to be a value-added proposition that you'll be able to actually monetize. You'll be able to see how important this will be to not have to be bothered with watching the road during your commute or during trips or other kinds of situations. All right. Not to mention the little bit that I've really been able to use, because I don't drive that much right now. My wife, she has to go off from the home to go to campus where she's a professor. So she gets to drive the FSD a lot more than me. But the times that I have driven it, it's so great. You get to see more scenery even now. So, all right. The next one is at Mr. Lean Nudler. Not a, Mr. Lean. No, Mr. Lee Nudler. That's probably it. It's Mr. Lee Nudler. These are so fun. Anyway, it says, I'm skeptical that Optimus will be understood by the market as well. I don't think that we'll see Optimus as a big stock mover until we see great savings from using it and or a backlog from hell, he says. This is just me opining, though. We can but guess what the market will do. Okay, I think one of the, I could be misreading Lee here. Lee, this is going to be something that is going to be picked up by corporations, by companies, by factories, by construction companies, by outdoor folks that have outdoor workers, people that need second shift, people that are working in dangerous situations. For the first couple of years, at least, that's going to be everything. It's not going to go in a person's home, probably won't even go into a nursing home. It's not going to go into oddball environments where it doesn't know how to read the environment very well. It's not going to go where it's going to be handling individual people for a while. What it's going to be good for, what it's going to be, again, as a manufacturer for 30 years, I took one look at the first time I saw Optimus and said, I want one. This is not going to be it's not going to be hard to sell manufacturers on this product. The manufacturers are going to be lined up. The hard part is going to be deciding who gets it. Kind of like Cybertruck, only probably even more extreme. All right, next would be at Martin Gugino, Gugino. He says, catalyst number, in fact, Martin has quite a number here. He says catalyst number 6 for him is Tesla announces it intends to change all of its charging stations into power plants by adding batteries and solar connectors to nearby plaza parking lots, serving the nearby plaza. Yeah, Martin, I think this is a fantastic idea. It's one thing to put canopies over them. It's another thing to put batteries in the ground, no matter what size those batteries might be. But it's be another thing to actually, visualize these, make these into major sources of electrical power through solar and also of storage through the batteries, and then work out agreements with the local utilities to be able to help them stabilize and also provide them with power. Absolutely agree. It could also be a regional location that might serve a subdivision. As you say, serve that shopping center. Everybody in the shopping center could get their power from it. Absolutely agree. Martin has another one here. He says, catalyst number 2 for him. Announcement by India that it intends to get to net zero by 2027 using Tesla batteries and solar panels by creating hundreds of microgrids. This is something that maybe you saw, Martin, that Tony Seba actually said it would only cost $1 trillion for India to become 100% solar, wind, and power. That's solar, wind, and battery. And that's like $10 per Indian citizen per year for 10 years. So whether you spend it all at once, whether you spend it over 10 years, but you're saying let's spend it in 4 years and let's make it all Tesla. And in this particular case, the $1 trillion could be split among as many companies as want to get involved. But yeah, absolutely. Why shouldn't India just go hog wild and just completely switch over as fast as they possibly can? It would catapult them into a futuristic world that would give them tremendous wealth, not just in the long term, but in the very short term. The sooner they do it, the better. Then Martin also says he has a name for my Giga catalysts. He says I should call them supercatalytic expialidocious. So I don't know, but Martin, shouldn't it be Giga catalytic expialidocious? That would be more in keeping with the Tesla world. Okay, Michael Aletta, he says Optimus. That's at Michael Aletta. He says Optimus probably will fall 2024 to. Will fall. Optimus will probably, I guess, become the catalyst, the super catalyst, the giga catalyst will probably happen in 2024. So what Michael has done is he's gone through some of my catalysts and he's actually given them a share value. So I thought that was kind of fun. So here's what he says. He's saying Optimus in fall of 2024, $400 a share. That will be how much he thinks it'll go up. Now, I don't think he thinks it'll go up that in one day, but maybe over the first 3 or 4 weeks, or maybe the first couple of months after Optimus becomes a thing. He says FSD coast to coast with Elon driving in the back seat. He says summer of 2024, he thinks that'll affect the stock by $200 a share. The OEM licenses for FSD from other car makers, he thinks that'll happen also in the summer of 2024. He thinks that'll only boost numbers by $50 a share. I think you're low on that one. He says full Cybertruck intro in October of 2023. He says that's only $20 a share. I think that could also be higher. And then he says the compact car or the Gen 3 car, once the specs and he doesn't say here, but I think it's got to be a picture or it's got to be a real car that you can see so people can see what it looks like, and then the specs and the pricing. He says also summer of 2024, he thinks that's $50 a share. And that might also be low. But anyway, who knows? Those are good ones. So I like what you did there, Michael. All right. Then we got Michael Loletta comes through again. He says when the battery is full. Oh, okay. So there's another subject here. He says we're talking about batteries and the problem that came out on Friday with this reporting that Tesla was somehow gaming the numbers and wasn't giving honest reporting with regard to whether the battery, how much range a car gets out of the battery. And of course, I said immediately, what are you talking about? This is something that the EPA establishes and Tesla cannot change without permission. So if anybody, it's got to be the EPA that's making the error here. And so you blame them, not Tesla. And this has got lots of legs. Lots of folks are coming out. Even the co-founder of Facebook, I forget his name right now, came out today and said, yeah, see there, proves that Elon's a liar. What are you talking about? The EPA sets the number. Well, anyway, one of the minor complaints within that article was that the battery, when you first start out, might be showing too much range. And then somehow there's an algorithm that as you get closer and closer to being empty, the range is more realistic. And somehow that's trying to con the system. Well, he says when the battery is full, it probably uses a general estimate. As it gets closer and closer to its where it's going, or closer and closer to zero, it's using the actual usage in the estimate. It is generally the most accurate of the estimates the longer that you are in the car driving. It considers temperature, wind, driver, etc. Yes, that's exactly right, Michael. I couldn't say it better myself. I don't know about you guys. Some people drive 90 miles an hour. You are not going to get the same range at 90 miles an hour. But when you first fill up the tank, so to speak, when you're 100% full in the battery, I don't know if the computer is going back and saying, well, I know this driver and he's always or she's always at 90 miles an hour. Therefore, I need to take that into consideration, or whether it is, as you say, Michael, possibly a general case every time it's filled up again. Not sure, but that's a very good point. Then we have, I'm going to have to move this over here. Okay. Then we have DB apps. I'm not sure, at DBAPS2. All right. Tesla should have started building more battery facilities at least 1 to 2 years ago. We're talking about Lathrop type facilities. They should have built more and more, way more manufacturing for those facilities. My guess is that they didn't have the manufacturing process ironed down until recently. This caused the delay because they've had an 18 to 24 month backlog for a while. I hope they ramp up quickly. So here's what I think is going on. Let me see if I can give you some ideas here. They were making them in Reno. They were smaller. They decided it would be more effective to make them larger and to make them in their own factory. So they set up Lathrop. They built Lathrop in under 9 months. They were making product within 9 months of when they took over that building. And as they were ramping up, apparently, from what we can tell, 1 or 2 of their suppliers of this heavy equipment that is used to make the product, as well as to lift it off the ground and put it onto a truck, these suppliers were not able to provide them with the enough material, enough equipment to be able to ramp fully up. So there was no reason to start building another factory until these suppliers came up to the place where they could make enough of these to be able to outfit the new factories. So I'm sure that the supply chain is now in place. They've already announced what they're going to be doing in Shanghai, and which may be a completely separate supply chain, but now they know what to do. They know all the pieces and parts they need. That's why I would expect a lot faster implementation of new factories coming up here now in the future. So that was good. I like that one. Okay. And then let's see here. We got Jenna Steiner 6611. That's at Jenna Steiner 6611. Why aren't the major power companies pushing for localized energy? I would say that they are. Okay. In general, utilities all over the world at this point are definitely putting in solar, putting in wind, and putting in batteries. The holdup over the last few years was they didn't have enough batteries. Now that Tesla is making enough batteries, a lot of these projects are starting to come on. But even so, there's not enough batteries. And so some of them are still being slowed up, waiting for even more battery supply. So I think that there are certainly utilities that are not going as fast as they could. Remember, these are probably very ingrained. These are older companies. These are companies that have probably a much more slower reacting kind of business because their profits are guaranteed. In almost all cases, their profits are guaranteed. I don't know if this was a separate person asking the next question because there's something wrong with my information here. So it might have still been Jenna Steiner. Next question. I don't think it was Jenna Steiner. I wish Elon would stop making all these promises. Why does he make them? Think of all the technological issues that FSD and Optimus face. And it's just even one hiccup, Elon breaks a promise once again. I asked AI this question: how many promises has Elon Musk made and broken? The reply was, in the list, the Tesla Model 3 would cost $35,000. Full self-driving Tesla cars will be ready in 6 months. Brain implants will be available in a few years. A tunnel would speed travel between New York and Washington. A Tesla semi-truck would arrive by 2019. 1 million robotaxis would be on the road by 2020. And Tesla humanoid robot would be ready for production in 2023. So I could pick those apart one at a time. A Tesla humanoid robot probably is ready for production in 2023. The tunnel between New York and Washington, politicians got in the way. Tesla semi-truck would arrive by 2019. That turned out to be a battery issue, just not enough batteries, and you have to make a decision. Anyway, you could pick them apart one by one, but then at Paul M.C. Greavy 3011 says, did you say promises? I don't hear the words I promise. It is usually we think, or should be, or could be, or maybe, but you refuse to hear. He says you refuse to hear those words, and then you insert I promise, which isn't there. And I think that's a super good point. I've been a manufacturer, and many of you probably are manufacturers, or maybe you're salespeople, or maybe you're in management, maybe you're in product development. Well, you can't plan. I mean, you can plan, but it's kind of once you're in the middle of the war, you found out how good your planning was, right? So no, you never promise. But you can say, this is what I think is going to happen. I really believe, based on what the information I have right now, this is what I think is going to happen. Now, there's a whole world of argument between under-promising and over-delivering, and over-delivering over-promising and under-delivering. And Elon can be criticized for possibly over-promising, but it's the wrong word, over-promising, but overestimating, being too optimistic about what his expectations are. I get it. I totally understand. It's an easy thing to do. You want it to be true. You are pressing your people to make it happen, and you want them to believe that you believe it can be done in that time frame. You are excited in terms of your customers. You're excited that your customers are going to get these new things. You're just generally excited by building things. That's what entrepreneurs do. We build things, and we're excited about the outcome. And so, you can often get into the business of saying, this is what's going to happen. And we think we can do this by fall. And then it's next fall. Anyway, I don't think you're going to change Elon on this one. I mean, yes, he might hear us. He might hear you. And he might go, I need to get better at that. He might even hear some of his people within his own organization saying the same thing. And he might go, you know what? I need to tamp it down just a little bit. One of the arguments that was made by this particular commenter was he doesn't need to do this in order to sell cars. No, it's generally not a case of where he's trying to say it in order to trick somebody into buying something. I know people believe that, but no, it's not in order to trick anybody into doing anything. It is because he actually believes it. I've been there so many times. It looks like it's clear it's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, some supplier can't do something. All of a sudden, there's not enough money, whatever the case may be, all kinds of reasons why. All right. So I hope that you've enjoyed this look at what everybody's been saying, the kind of comments they've been making. Please make your own comments right now. That'd be a great time to do it. Let me know what you're thinking or what your thoughts were with regard to some of this. You may want to take a look at yesterday's video that I did in the middle of the day. It was one of the highest viewed videos ever. Because why? Because it introduced two unbelievable pieces of news that happened yesterday afternoon. One was that Google basically confirmed that the vision system that they are now experimenting with that uses video, vision system that can use video, take it off the internet, can train robots. Okay, this is a confirmation. Some people are like, well, that's not news, Randy. We've known that Tesla can do this. Well, yeah, we've known that Tesla can do this. Except what? No, we didn't really know. We just have Tesla's word for it. So when Google comes in, one of the other most experienced tech companies in the world, and says, oh no, we're already doing this. We've already got our computer set up also that are able to view videos, and then a robot could learn from these. By the way, Google also said we have no plans to make robots. The other piece of news that I thought was important yesterday was that the PCE said, basically inflation is almost there. We're almost to the point where it's not an issue anymore. And by virtue of that being true, I made the prediction, I continue to make the prediction, Tesla will not have to lower prices anymore this year, which should have a very good impact on increasing margins. Okay, there you go. So hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify. Read the books, and then I think we're at 95 or higher now on Patreon. We're trying to get to 100 by Monday. As you're watching this on Saturday, we just have 2 days. We just need 2 people a day. So 2.5, or how do you do that? Anyway, so join Patreon. It's free, and you're going to get special content up there. And then buy the books. Making Money Out of Thin Air has been doing extremely well recently. I just talked to my co-author, Shayla, today. She's also my CPA. She does all my CPA work, and I also am her marketing and business consultant. And we're a great team, and I can't begin to tell you, if you're looking for a CPA, you can't do better than, and I recommend you buy the book. Read what she has to say. Read what I have to say. We are totally on the same page with regard to how to use your financial information to run your company. And Shayla is an amazing CPA. You may want to give her a call and set up, whether you just have complex tax issues or whether you're actually in business for yourself and need somebody with those kind of skills. Anyway, that's all I got for you. That's it for today. And it's been great talking to you.
Click the link below to get your paperback, Kindle, or audiobook now.